Okay, in this video we are going to discuss about the constraint relations. That is, everybody knows it by pulley block system. In some devices of mechanics, the connected objects do not have the same velocity or acceleration. The relation between the velocities or accelerations is known as the constraint relation. So we have to derive the constraint relation, or rather learn how to relate the relations of the velocities and accelerations of the different blocks. Usually it is observed that the number of constraint equations are as many as the number of strings in the system under consideration. So the number of constraint equations are as many as the number of strings. If there are two strings, there will be two constraint equations, three strings, three constraint equations. Now we take a few examples. The first one is a rod with a ring on it. The length of the string from the ring to the pulley, or rather the fixed pulley is drawn like this. To the fixed pulley is L, and the block attached to the other end of the rope is M2. Now they have said that the system is released. The system is released. Now when the system gets released, what happens? This ring comes down slowly. We draw a second diagram as if the ring has come over here. So the diagram will get changed to this. The block here was M2. This pulley was a fixed pulley. This length was L here. That means it's also L here. Now the velocity with which the block M2 moves upwards, let it be V2. Now the displacement of the ring, we take it as Y. The displacement of the ring is Y. And the length of the string here is S. So from the rule of Pythagoras, we can derive a relation like this: y square plus L square is equal to S square. Y square plus L square is equal to S square. Now in these three terms, L is a constant, so the derivative of this L will yield 0. So differentiating with respect to t or time, we get 2y dy dt plus 0, because L is a constant term, is equal to 2s ds dt. Now y dy dt is equal to s ds dt. Therefore dy dt is equal to s by y ds dt. Now what is ds dt? ds dt is the rate of change of this length, that is v2. Rate of change of this length means this is the velocity corresponding to the change. So ds dt means velocity v2, s by y v2. And what was dy dt? The velocity with which the ring moves downward. Suppose it be v1. So v1 is equal to s by y v2. So v1 by v2 is equal to s by y. Further deriving it, we write s is equal to root over y square plus L square. From this relation, s square is equal to y square plus L square. So root over y square plus L square by y. So this is the relation we derive. We have solved this problem using the constant relation y square plus L square is equal to s square. Now if we apply another principle to solve this same problem, that is the condition. The condition means string remains tight. If the string has to remain tight, that means the velocities as well as the accelerations acting on the string must be equal. So this principle has to be followed, or rather the condition that the string remains tight. This is a practical case. The velocities and accelerations acting on the string must be equal. Now to solve this same problem, we can draw this diagram. In short, this is the pulley. This was L, this was Y, this was S. We take this angle to be theta. Now the velocity along this direction was V1. Along this direction was V1. Velocity along the string in this direction was V2. So if the velocity of this string in this direction is V2, that means this velocity continues to be in the string here also. So the velocity in the string here also is V2. The block is moving upwards. So the velocity of the string here is also V2. Now if we extend the string here, this is also theta. Now what is the component of velocity of V1 here along the string? The component of velocity of V1 here along the string is V1 cos theta. So this V1 cos theta acts along the string as well as V2 acts along the string. So we have already mentioned here that the velocities acting on the string must be equal. That means V2 must be equal to V1 cos theta. So what we have found out here, V1 by V2. So here V1 by V2 means 1 by cos theta, means sec theta. Now what is sec theta? That is hypotenuse by base, that is S by Y. S by Y. So V1 by V2 is equal to S by Y is equal to Y square plus L square by Y. So this is a more easier process than the previous one. The previous one is a theoretically correct procedure, and the second one is also theoretically correct, but it takes less time to solve problems like this. Now let us take another example. This is a block moving on the ground, or rather dragged on a smooth plane. No friction is here. The pulley is also frictionless. The rope is massless, inextensible. The rope is pulled with a velocity v downwards in this fashion. The angle of the rope with the vertical is theta. Now if we apply the second principle that we had learned earlier, the component of Vx along this string, it will be Vx cos of 90 minus theta. If this is theta, so the remaining angle here is 90 minus theta. So the component of Vx along this string is 90 minus theta. So Vx cos of 90 minus theta, that must be equal to this velocity v, because this is the velocity which is the string is pulled downwards. So the string moves upwards with the same velocity v. So v must be equal to the component of velocity Vx cos 90 minus theta is equal to v. Now what is cos 90 minus theta? Sin theta is equal to v. So Vx is equal to v by sin theta, or v cosec theta. So this is the value of the horizontal velocity with which the block is dragged on the ground. Now let us take a third example. This is a rod of length L. A rod of length L is inclined at an angle theta with the floor against a smooth vertical wall. The ends, the bottom end moves with the velocity v2 in the positive x direction, and the topmost point, that is A, name it as B, this angle is theta. This topmost point moves down along the wall with a velocity v1 downwards. Now we can apply the constant relation. Now suppose this is y, this is x, and this is L. We take it to be y, the displacement. This is x, this is L. Now y square plus x square is equal to L square. The constant term here is L. Y is also varying because y is reducing and x is increasing. We take the derivative with respect to time, 2y dy dt plus 2x dx dt, As L is a constant, we get here 0. Now y dt plus x dx dt is equal to 0. Now what is dy by dt? Dy by dt is v1. Dy by dt is v1. Here dy by dt we write it to be v1, but this is not correct because v1 moves along the negative y-axis, so we have to take it as minus v1. Similarly, dx by dt, it moves along the positive x-axis, we have to take it as v2. So y dy by dt means minus v1 plus x v2 is equal to 0, which leads to the relation y2 is equal to v2 is equal to y v1 by x. Now what is y by x from this relation? From this relation, what is y by x? Tan theta. So we can write v2 is equal to v1 tan theta. This is the required relation. Now we apply the second process in the same problem. For the string to be tight, that means for the string to be tight, the velocities acting along the string should the rod, not string, it's rod. For the rod to be tight, or one body actually, we know that it is a one fixed body. The velocities along this rod must be the same. So if we extend this part, now this is v2, if this is theta, this is also theta, so this is v2 cos theta, this is v1, so the component of velocity along the rod will be v1 cos of 90 minus theta, because if this is theta, this angle is 90 minus theta, the component of v1 along the rod is v1 cos of 90 minus theta. So this velocity and this velocity must be equal. v1 cos 90 minus theta means sin theta, and v2 cos theta, they are equal. So v2 is equal to v1 sin theta by cos theta, v1 tan theta. So you can very easily get the required relationship between v1 and v2 using this second process. So v1 sin theta is equal to v2 cos theta, v2 is equal to v1 sin theta by cos theta means tan theta. We derived the same relation, v2 is equal to v1 tan theta, in the previous procedure. Now we take this example. These are two pulleys, or rather the fixed pulleys. One end of this string is pulled by velocity v, another end of the other string is pulled by velocity u. Both the lengths are same here, L. We have taken it to be L. Now the imaginary line drawn here has a measure of y, and the distance between the two pulleys is always fixed, is equal to 2x. So the variable of the three x, y, l are L and y are variables, because if we pull these two strings, this block will move up with a particular velocity. Here it is asked to find the velocity of this block. Find velocity of block m, of mass m, block of mass m. Now what we have to do? We have to use the relation x square plus y square is equal to L square. According to this triangle, x square plus y square is equal to L square. Now again, derivative of this equation, constant equation, we get ddt of L square. Here L square is x square is a constant, so derivative of x square yields 0. Derivative of this thing gives 2y dy dt and 2L dl dt. From that we get dy dt is equal to 2 gets cancelled, L by y dl dt. Now what is L by y dl dt? Now dl by dt means, if we take this part of the triangle, dl, now if you take this part of the triangle, it pulls down to the velocity of u, so dl by dt means u. And what is L by y? L by y. Now this is the base, this is the hypotenuse, so L by y means sec theta. Also you can write it by u by cos theta. Now taking the other side, this triangle, we get another dy by d theta, that is L by v by cos theta. So velocity of block in the upward direction, so dy by dt plus dy by dt is equal to u by cos theta plus v by cos theta. So taking this u plus v by cos theta, it's 2 dy by dt, or rather dy by dt is equal to u plus v by 2 cos theta.